We have a really exciting episode today. We're going to be counting down the top 10 best and most cringy Bravo moments of 2022 that were captured both on and off the air. So before we get into our top 10 list, Iris, it's been such a crazy year. So much has happened in the Bravo universe. How would you describe this past year?
Oh my gosh, how would I describe this past year? Honestly, I think chaotic is probably the first word that comes to mind. I think in doing this kind of like list and like going back and looking at all the things that did happen in 2022, it does kind of boggle my mind that like, wow, that was just this year. Like I just feel like so much has happened. Even like just alone the season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was such a long season. Like that was
so
such
long.
An experience.
It was not a great experience.
It was
either.
not a great experience. And then like if you think about the drama too from Beverly Hills, like we were hearing about the Aspen trip since January last year. So that's been 12 months of our life that we're just never gonna get back.
That's true. So chaotic was also gonna be my word.
No. Oh, sorry.
But so another word that comes to mind was like heavy. It was pretty heavy. We got into some like dark themes, I feel, which like has been building over the past few years. But this year it just kind of felt like it really culminated in, you know, things that are happening in their actual lives that were just dark and heavy and then got brought into the show, and some people just not acting the way that you'd think or would want some people to act. Cough, cough, Erika, Jen Shah. So yeah, we saw a lot of things happen on social media that like played into seasons that like came before and after and throughout seasons. It's been a big year. So I'm excited to get into this list. We had to actually go through our own like chats, talking to each other to remember all the things that happen and do some internet lurking. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through top 10, counting down, of course, from 10 to number 1. It did seem to line up with the best moments, which is kind of like silly or fun or just satisfying as a viewer, to cringy, which is the other half. Which is kind of the majority.
Yeah, and enjoyable in its own right as well.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we like some reality cringe. Who doesn't?
Oh, definitely. Especially as long as it's good reality cringe. But yeah, I think I'll kick it off here with number 10, the return to Bluestone Manor. This was super exciting to get to do in season 2 of Ultimate Girls Trip. You know, this is a very famous house. These are a lot of very famous ex-housewives. But I think the one moment that really stood out in our minds was Phaedra mistaking Dorinda for being somebody that would be old enough to be Brandy's mother.
Yeah, that was such a good scene.
So good. And just like her little, for real? Oh, okay. like response when Brandy's like, no, she's only 5 years older than me. Oh my god, that was the best moment. I loved it so much. And really brought some levity in amongst all of the fights that those ladies were having.
Yeah, that was a really intense fight too, right? That it came right after.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I think so. Basically, like Brandy had made a comment about Taylor's husband's suicide back in like season 2 of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, they were really bringing everything back up to the surface.
A lot of stuff from those early years, because Taylor was like hell bent on bringing like up the fact that like Brandy had outed Adrienne Malouf's like surrogacy journey, and so like that was a whole thing. And like even though Brandy and Adrienne have supposedly kind of like made up from this fight that happened, I don't know, 13 years ago, and then Dorinda, like obviously with the assistance of many dirty martinis, made the comment that like, what if your son died to Brandy, which obviously upset Brandy. And honestly, I give props to Brandy for being able to walk away in that situation and knowing that whatever was going to come out of her out of her mouth next was not going to be good.
No, it's so true. I feel like that definitely was like a little bit of a change Brandy to an extent, you know, she's still Brandy, but at least she was able to walk away. Yeah, and then we got that really hilarious scene, which did bring, you know, some comic relief
Totally.
To your point, it was also really fun to see Bluestone Manor. I also just found it was so hilarious that the Ultimate Girls Trip before them had gone. Where did they go?
Turks and Caicos.
They went to Turks and Caicos, and then after them, they went to like Thailand.
Yeah. Oh, it's true.
But it is iconic, and unlike Southern Hospitality, who is in an iconic location but is seemingly not bringing that fact up at all, they definitely let us know at every turn that this was an iconic location.
Yeah, well, and with some very key, I think that the timing of all of this for Dorinda was very smart, because she basically got her book, I Made It Nice, to come out right around the same time, and her Bluestone Manor whiskey. So that was
a Bluestone Manor whiskey.
Yeah, and there's like a whole bunch of shots of it, like shots of it in the season as well. It's really funny. It looks beautiful. It's got like a nice a blue peacock or something on the logo. It's pretty cool. It looks interesting. I'd try.
Yeah. I honestly liked that one. I liked Ultimate Girls Trip, the second one, actually.
I did too.
It was honestly the thing I love most about Ultimate Girls Trip is how they actually break the fourth wall and they talk about what it's like to be a housewife. It's nice to get that kind of insight. I also find that like you end up liking a lot of the characters more outside of their own franchises.
So. I think you're right about that. I think it really breaks up the dynamics. And I'd love to be able to see like Phaedra again. Like that was super fun. I know that she's a little bit of a controversial figure, but
she was really fun in that.
She was really fun in that. She's so witty.
And that brings us to number 9, which is Ramona's social media fail. I had actually forgotten about this one. This is when she went on Instagram to share that she had an exotic and glamorous wedding invitation that she had received from Teressa. And then in showing said invitation on Instagram, she accidentally leaked the date and location to all of her followers. She quickly deleted it like 30 minutes later, but it was too late. It also had a website and password for the wedding that had all of the all the details, like everyone who was invited. It had all the information. So that was a big faux pas.
That was a big fail. And Bravo Soups were very fast to hop on that list and see who had and had not made the cut.
Oh yeah, it was just hilarious. It was also just classic Ramona. Like,
oh my god, like actually, it was so funny.
And then I was also reading that Teressa had also come out and said that move had cost her money as well, because she had to then spend more money to resend out invitations with the correct information and also beef up her security. And I mean, that's actually a huge deal. Like,
oh, it's a very huge deal, especially for somebody like as high profile as Teressa, and like the guests that she was inviting as well. Like, you know, it's not like the royal family or anything, but it's a pretty big, it's the royal family of New Jersey.
The royal family of New Jersey. I'm sure that's what they like to call.
I'm sure lots of people in New Jersey would love to hear that as well.
And then what's funny too is just like that was just the beginning of what became like a wedding that was just fraught with like so much drama, right? Like we knew that Joe and Melissa didn't end up showing up, which I'm sure is gonna play out on, or is playing out. No, New Jersey didn't come out yet, right?
No, it hasn't come out yet. It's coming out in February, but I'm sure we'll see.
Yeah, which is gonna play out in New Jersey. Like Dina got like uninvited as a bridesmaid, and then like I think Teresa's ex ended up crashing, and then of course there also a little bit of an honorable mention is Teresa's hairstyle from this wedding. That was very Marge Simpson.
Gotta give it a shout out. Oh my god, it was so Jersey.
I don't even know what that was. I don't know if that was Jersey.
No, I'm pretty sure
that was interesting.
It was definitely like, next level. It was like beauty queen a la Max.
It was like take the poof, but then add 1,200 poofs on top of the poof.
Oh my god, the expense for that hair alone.
So funny. So that was a good, pretty funny moment. And then an honorable mention around the themes of weddings is that Tom, infamous Luann's ex-husband, had his engagement party on the same boat where he had his engagement party to Luann.
Classy guy. Oh my god, I can't believe that. That's
did
so
anyone
crazy.
like call that out, or was that just like, I feel like we just saw that on social media, like, and then
Yeah,
people were just like, isn't that the same boat?
yeah, I think that's basically what happened. People saw it on social media and they were like, wow, I can't believe that you would do that. You'd have it on the exact same boat as your last engagement party. It was a life choice. I mean, I guess if you only have access to one boat, then that's what you're gonna do. But
He's like, maybe no one will notice.
Maybe
or he wanted us to notice.
Maybe, or maybe his like future wife or fiance or whatever just didn't really care. I'm not sure. I don't think I would be too thrilled about it, but maybe that's just me.
Oh, Tom.
Oh, Tom.
And then another honorable mention around the themes of weddings is that Madison got married from Southern Charm. But I think the bigger moment from this year, I think it was this year, was when she announced her engagement via Amazon Live.
Yeah, that was, well, so that's the weird thing about Bravo is it happened last year, but it happened this season. So I think
to us, it happened this year.
I wasn't watching her Amazon Live at the time, so I think that totally works.
True.
Yeah.
Classy move.
Yeah, definitely interesting one. I'm sure Austin appreciated it. Well, and speaking of weddings or marriages, I suppose, one very special thing that 2022 brought us was the end of having to see Michael Darby on our TV screens.
Slow clap.
Yeah,
slow clap.
Round of applause for Ashley Darby for finally pulling the plug, leaving Michael Darby behind. We love that for us. We love that for her. And yeah, I just think that we're wishing her the best of luck with these future divorce proceedings, because I'm sure it's not going to be easy, but hey, we love to see it.
we do love to see it. Michael has been really sketchy, to put it nicely.
Yeah, definitely sketchy, weird, inappropriate, just so many things. And I don't think we're gonna miss him.
We're definitely not gonna miss him. And her glow up that she's having with Luke right now is so hilarious.
Like,
if you look at the side by side,
like, oh my god,
go to Luke,
right? Like, how? Oh my god, yeah. No, I'm so proud of her.
yeah, definitely love to see it. I mean, on the season of Potomac, it's like not looking like the clearest divorce, considering he's like buying her house. So hoping that didn't actually happen.
Yeah,
because you'd really think that she has enough money from Bravo to buy herself a house. But
yeah, and if not, then Bravo needs to give all the women of Potomac raises, because they deserve it. they are the ones delivering it to us each week.
They're the OGs.
Yeah, they're the OGs. Ashley needs a nice house. Okay, Bravo execs, you got to give her that raise.
Ashley is still serving all of the things. So
she literally is. No, incredible.
She's messy, but she's good TV. She still treads the line.
Fun, messy.
Most of the women on Potomac are still fun, messy.
Yeah,
oh no, so. She was angry at Michael Darby too.
Yeah, exactly. I am too.
So moving on, we have number 7 is Kathy absolutely slaying Lisa Rinna and Erika. Yes, exactly. At the Beverly Hills reunion. So this is probably the only good thing that came out of Beverly Hills this season.
Definitely the only good thing that came out of the reunion this year, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, the reunion was that's it. No one was held accountable at the reunion. There was just a lot of setup for literally no payoff until Kathy came in those last like 15 minutes. And she just voiced what the audience was saying. She broke the fourth wall. She brought up contracts. She brought up everything. And as a viewer, it was so satisfying. So I have a few highlights to break down just because this was such an iconic moment.
Love it.
So we have the infamous, "You're the biggest bully in Hollywood and everyone knows it." Except Lisa like annoyingly leaned into that.
I know, she totally thinks that she's in her villain era, and it's like, oh my god, how do we get out of this?
She's like, I'm clearly just playing this character, and you guys love it. It's like,
what was it? What was it that Diana said? You need a new villain. Here
oh,
I am. And
oh my
like,
God.
oh God, now Lisa thinks that that's her. No,
After like rehearsing in the mirror
neither of
for
you
like
did this well.
yeah, we don't need a new villain.
Do
Please
not
go
need a new
back.
villain. We are fine. Thank you.
Yeah, she said you ran LVP off the show, which was like, yes.
Yes, love it.
Yes, we love our Lisa Vanderpump. She was for sure just like, yes. I think she tweeted something about it actually too.
Yeah.
She said, you know, what you did to my sister. She said that her contract was gonna be coming up and she needed a storyline. It was just amazing because you never actually see or hear someone in the show go that deep and actually bring out the things that people are all saying. So that was really nice.
Yeah, and I think you're right, like having like the whole like Kim storyline kind of like be brought into this season as well. Like it just really goes to show how much of a good sister like Kathy is to Kim and how much she's still looking out for her after, you know, all these years. Like that drama is like what, at least 8 years old probably. I know that there's obviously still things that have happened in the more recent past. But overall, like, yeah, I'm glad that Kathy is still showing up for Kim.
Yeah. I know Kathy, like in and of herself, is also controversial and does not seem to be an angel.
Totally.
But you know, in terms of this, if she's going to be pushing down, you know, and holding Rinna and Erika accountable, I at least will be here for that.
Yes,
because
exactly.
no one else will.
At least one person will.
Exactly. And then Lisa was just sitting there and all she could say was, wow, so sad.
Yeah.
Or
we're
like,
totally
that's
gonna get blamed for this, aren't we? Like,
yeah. Not to go too into the Beverly Hills drama because we could go there all day, but then I was rewatching this segment just to remember all the great things that Kathy said. And just like Lisa, the main thing that Lisa said that Kathy had said was like, I'm gonna bring down Kyle or take down Kyle and Bravo if it's the last thing I do. That is Lisa Rinna 101. Like that is, it's even spoken in her voice.
Yeah.
It's just like this whole facade was the fakest story I've ever seen.
You're so right. Oh my God, it's so annoying. And like it's so annoying too when you like do have it airing against Potomac where you do see like the people in like sprinter vans like actually pulling out their phones and like doing the recordings. Like Lisa,
oh, it's so true.
If you had just done that, then we would believe you, but we don't. And the things that you're saying are too outlandish. Like even the things that she was making up that like allegedly Kathy had said about Crystal and Dorit, like even those things we just didn't believe. Like it just didn't make any sense. Like
it also just didn't sound like her either. Like it also sounded like Lisa.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
Like
hated
be
it.
smarter if you're gonna try to pull this off.
Literally, please. We would appreciate it if you could do this well. Like that would that honestly, like you can enjoy a good villain, but like
at least try.
At least try. At least be smart about it. Come on.
And then she also Kathy no, I feel it too. Kathy didn't stop at Erika. She didn't stop at Rinna. She also went after Erika. There was the whole like, I think I have a little bit more credibility than you, which was really nice. She also came out and said like, those earrings are not yours and you have no remorse, which was like, thank you.
Yeah.
To which Erika's like, you're just trying to save yourself. It's like, no, you're a horrible person.
Yeah. God, yeah. The delusion.
Yeah, so mass delusions. And then of course honorable mention here too is Lisa being booed at BravoCon.
Yeah,
love to see it. But she also apparently didn't care and tried to turn that into her thing as well,
unfortunately,
which is why I'm kind of surprised that it does seem like she's likely going to be coming back to Beverly Hills, because the audience outreach does seem so vocal that they dislike that they dislike Rinna. Like Reddit really dislikes her.
Instagram certainly dislikes her. Like
Instagram really dislikes her.
None of the podcasts, some of the podcasts I listen to can excuse Erika. Nobody seems to be excusing Rinna in this
I still
world.
don't understand
so
excusing Erika either.
No,
but
I don't appreciate that
at least if we'll get one.
Yeah.
So I feel like with Beverly Hills, I really kind of feel like Bravo's in this stage where they're mistaking, because they apparently got a lot of views on Beverly Hills this year, and they kind of mistake us, like, I guess, like controversy for engagement, enjoyment, and I guess views is engagement, right? So, but it's just kind of like it's bad publicity. So
And it's
hoping
just
for a
nice.
shakeup, as we say in our video about what we hope to come next.
Yeah, exactly. What we're looking forward to in 2023.
And then that leads us into number 6, which is another
crime-related
aspect.
And another thing that we're looking forward to in 2023. I think. So number 6 is Jen's guilty plea. You know, as many of us know, on July 11th, Jen Shah pleaded guilty after so many months of just, you know, proclaiming her innocence, like going off constantly about how this was done to her. There were some like weird conspiracy theories that like Mary Cosby had done this, or Meredith had caused this, or like something weird was happening. But no, she has in fact pled guilty to charges for conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. So, you know, I think this was a huge win for the Bravo watchers. I think this was a huge win for the victims of these crimes, because these are not victimless crimes. These are very serious charges, and what she's done is very serious. I know that she wasn't the only one, but it's just, you know, after reading, or I guess like listening to the Bravo Dockets podcast and reading a lot of the victim statements, you know, finding out about the fact that like people have lost entire life savings, you know, the elderly were being preyed upon, people who can no longer be in the workforce, people who may not have ever been in the workforce because of their disabilities, like, you know, people have become homeless because of these crimes. And so that was one of the best moments in 2022. Super light and happy, right?
so light,
so fun.
It was a little shocking, just having watched an entire season of her screaming at everyone that she's guilty, that she's innocent. And then, you know, she pleads guilty, and then the next season launches, and then we still see her screaming at everyone that she's innocent. And a big theme of the season seems to be woe is me, and they seem to be trying to pull on your heartstrings, and maybe some of that might have worked had she not pled guilty. I don't think it would have, because I think there was a lot of damning evidence against her before that. But it definitely makes the season uncomfortable to watch.
No, and I completely agree. And honestly, like, you're right, because the entire structuring of production, and like the way that production like immediately rushed into production. But like, you know, they started the production of this like basically right after the reunion last year, so that they could theoretically like capture her like going to court and like all of that stuff, because that was supposed to start in March 2022. It only ended up starting in like July 2022. But still, like, it was just like they filmed this entire season thinking that they were gonna get something that they never got, and then we've just had to watch her like, you know, scream and yell about how innocent she is, and you know what's being done to her, and what about her like family and all these like different things, when it's like, okay, now you're just actually guilty, and now we just have to watch like all this months of you pleading that you were innocent for so long. And it's just
and the crazy thing about it too, though, is that she's still so vocal on social media, and like screaming at people about random things. Honestly, I'm not even caught up on the season. I like got pretty turned off of it.
It's hard to watch.
I will probably finish, but like she's like adamantly fighting with Meredith
with
Lisa, they're getting into these huge fights. How do you even think you have a leg to stand on? Like, how are you still yelling at people about anything? Like, literally, just go spend time with your family before you go to jail. Like, what are you doing?
Just enjoy your life for the last few months that you have that are free, because hopefully you will be prosecuted and sentenced in a couple weeks, days. Who knows what the time is. But even if you think about it too, because like one of the things that the prosecution was saying is how she's like benefited off of this like free Jen Shah kind of like merch that she's produced as well. So like, not only did she like scam people out of like millions of dollars, but then she also like scammed like viewers out of money as well, by being like, look, I'm innocent, and like these people bought this merch allegedly. I don't know. And and then like, did she stop making those items as soon as she pled guilty? She's like, oh, we gotta shut down that site because actually we can't sell that anymore. I'm no longer.
She's like, put them all on sale.
I guess you could still free Jen Shah, that would be nice. It was like, oh god.
Yeah, it gets to a point where it's like there's so many like sketchy like people within the Bravo universe at this point that like, does Bravo need to do more due diligence to figure this stuff out before they put them on TV?
I wonder what it is about like your personality type that like attracts you to reality TV, because like what do you think about yourself that you're like, yeah, I'm definitely never gonna get away, like, I'm definitely am gonna get away with this, I should definitely go on reality TV, that's a great idea for me to be able to continue like my crimes, like I don't understand.
And there's now like proof of how people were actually like found out because they show off their wealth on these shows.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that was apparently the thing. I know this is like a completely different tangent, but like that was the whole thing with like Erika. Like if you watch the Housewife and the Hustler, like the victims of like Tom Girardi were like watching this TV show and they were like, wow, I can't believe these people are so wealthy, like they're not even paying us like our checks back for like all the money and like stuff that they allegedly won for us. Or I guess they won the money for it. It's not alleged, but yeah. They stole it too. We know that they stole it. That's not alleged either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's wild, but that was a big thing that happened, and then
it was a win.
I guess
it was a win.
It was a win. And then I think an honorable mention here too is that Jen then proceeded to crash BravoCon.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's still like super in line with her personality, but it's also just like so delusional. Like maybe she's extremely good at compartmentalizing.
I think so. I think she's like, hey, I've only got one life to live. I don't know if I'm gonna still be here tomorrow. I don't know what's gonna happen, so I might as well whoop it up while I can.
It's so weird. I also want to see what the rest of the cast come out and say about it, because no one's really come out and said anything. Like they haven't really seemed that like no one's come out and said a statement, or have they? I think they did, maybe like a very broad one.
Maybe.
Possibly.
But even then, like, I'm glad that she isn't at the reunion, because she would have been just so annoying at the reunion. But at the same time, like, she's not at the reunion, so there's like no like closure there of like all of her friends like who have stuck by her, like Meredith and Heather, like who have very loyally stuck by her through a lot, especially now that like Heather allegedly has like this like black eye, maybe because of Jen, we don't know. And like, and I just don't even understand what I don't know how you compartmentalize that. Like,
I'm definitely interested to see the reunion and what all of the women say, because they just have all been like pretty blindly loyal to her.
Yeah, a little too much.
So that brings us to the second half of our list, which is the top 5 cringiest moments of 2022 in the Bravoverse. So at number 5, we have Scheanna and Brock's kind of shameless wedding promotion.
Hey, I would do it too if I could.
Honestly, I would do the same.
Yeah.
So they got married in Cancun, I believe it was in August. And during that week, you may have noticed that Brock was posting a ton of Instagram stories that were clearly like the ads and promos that were needed to have the wedding sponsored. All of the pictures that came out of that event were like tagged a bunch of times. It was like very promotional. To be honest, I feel like this is mainly coming up on our cringe list because it's Brock and he's just like a walking red flag.
Oh yeah, he really is though. I'm so nervous.
So, just because it was him, I feel like it made it that much more cringe. And also just him and Cheeto is just it's just funny. Like the wedding actually did look nice. It looked a lot nicer than I kind of anticipated. There was no bridal crop top, so that's a win.
That's a win. A win is a win.
A win is a win is a win. And we also know a lot of stuff came out at this wedding that I'm excited to see go down in Vanderpump Rules this season. So we know that Katie was there, probably because she got invited while her and Tom were still married and then got divorced. And she's like, I guess I'll still go to Mexico.
The flight was already booked, might as well,
but like wasn't at the wedding, but was in the cave party.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. She clearly picked and chose a couple events to actually go to, but I guess didn't want to actually attend the actual wedding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we also know that this is now confirmed the location of the Raquel and Schwartz hookup, which like I feel like when that was coming out, it seemed like a rumor, and then it was confirmed.
Yes. Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. And I'm excited to see this. I think this is part of why it's so exciting to have Vanderpump Rules coming out this year, because there is just like there's already so much good drama that we can't wait to see.
Yeah,
this is definitely a highlight.
Yeah, this is a scenario where like the social media stuff that's coming out first is like benefiting the season. Because it's more like fun drama that you just kind of like want to know what's going on.
Hadn't they also hooked up at Coachella or something, or was that just a rumor as well? Were there just a lot of rumors that Raquel and Tom were gonna hook up and then it eventually actually just happened?
Oh, maybe. Probably. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. There's a lot of there's definitely a lot of rumors going around. But apparently Katie also has like a younger boyfriend. So
who?
Katie has a boyfriend.
Oh, Katie. Yeah. No, I'm excited for her for that too.
Yeah. So that was a big one. And then weren't you saying that Jax also was posting promos?
Yes. Yeah. So there was this weird theory, and I don't know if it's true or not, because it's just hard to say. But there was a theory that Jax was also like kind of like trying to get in on this like whole promo, like sponsored by the hotel or whatever. So he was like posting pictures that made it look like he was also sponsored to be there, and it was just kind of confusing because you couldn't really tell like, okay, is this sponsored content, is this not sponsored content, like what's happened here? Jax is always going to try to do something, so
I wouldn't put it past him. He's been doing some weird stuff on social media. I think I saw something where he posted something around the White Lotus, something like we were the first ones or something. And people are like, I don't think that's a flex you think it is, Jax.
Well, apparently Jax Taylor's also going through a whole process of like unblocking people on Twitter. So if anybody out there has been blocked by Jax, like, you can probably, well, I guess you need to get a friend to send him a DM, because you can't send him a DM to ask to get unblocked. So apparently that's the thing that's happening too right now.
Oh,
yeah,
good,
I know.
Good to know.
I don't know what you got to do to be able to get blocked by Jax, but
probably not much.
Probably not a lot, no.
And then we have an honorable mention in this section as well, which was during the season of Vanderpump Rules when Brock tried to hijack Raquel and James's engagement party to propose to Scheanna at an event that he did not pay for or spend any time or money setting up, because that is super charming.
Yeah. Would have been a lot more appropriate for Tom Sandoval to try to hijack that, since he was the one that actually planned it.
Oh man. Yeah. Tom Sandoval planned that whole engagement party.
Whole thing.
No, he planned their engagement party, the Coachella thing. That was their engagement. This was their engagement party at like the vineyard or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then
I see.
Yeah, and then Brock was trying to basically just like take Scheanna away and propose.
Get in on that. I mean, I guess in Brock's defense, at least his and Scheana's engagement actually lasted well into the next season of Vanderpump Rules. So, I guess I could see the reasoning there, but probably not the best advice in the world.
No, and instead they got their Cancun wedding. So
yeah, exactly.
Happy for them.
I'm happy for them.
I hope. I don't know. Poor Scheana's always just chasing love.
I know.
That's what in my rewatches of Vanderpump, that's the thing that sticks out to me the most. That at first it's frustrating, and then it just becomes kind of sad, and you feel really upset for her. That like she truly just wants to be loved.
Especially after that, not last season, but 2 seasons ago, I think, of Vanderpump Rules, where she was like kind of into that guy. Who was the guy that was
the one that she said his name every second, and he could put up a TV in like 3 seconds?
No, it was another. It was like the guy that was like supposedly like the manager at Tom Tom, and she like bought him. She bought him like an Apple Watch, and he just like kept on going on about how she was like so thirsty, and he was so mean to her. was so awful. So she really needed a good
was fired.
Yeah, like Brett or Charlie or something like that. No, neither of those are the characters.
It wasn't, but Brett was one of them.
Brett was one of them, but he wasn't that one. And Charlie was a girl, so I don't know.
I think Brett and Charlie liked each other.
Yeah, they did. Well, they at least went on a date, but
yeah.
Anyways.
What's a number 4?
What is number 4? One thing that we really didn't need in 2022 was Paige's attitude at the Summer House reunion. And I say that as a Paige fan, but yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. The attitude really made no sense. We didn't have any kind of background on the drama that was allegedly maybe happening from Winter House. We didn't see a reason for it from Summer House, so like we just didn't really get why that was happening. And you know, it was weird, and it was a waste of a spot next to Andy, which I think is what is like most upsetting about it as well.
The coveted spot next to Andy, and she wouldn't even turn her neck to look at Lindsay.
Oh my god, it was so annoying. And like, I don't know if you watched or listened to the Giggly Squad podcast at all. But like one of my favorite things about the Giggly Squad podcast is like how much Paige like talks about like popping off and like if she, you know, like if it was her or whatever. She talks a pretty big game, right? And like
I've listened a couple times.
Yeah, okay. So you probably know then. And so like I really wish that she'd brought that energy into the reunion. I think that would have been so fun. Like I would have loved to see if you're mad at Lindsay, be mad at Lindsay. Like go off a little bit. That's fun. We like that. I don't know. It was a wasted opportunity in my opinion.
It was so uncomfortable. It was like you'd never seen really that before at a reunion. It was the strangest thing.
Yeah. Well, honestly, actually, it's a little bit of like Nene Leakes behavior. I could totally see Nene doing that. I think that there have been reunions where Nene, like, especially the one I think it was like season 7, she didn't want to like interact with any of the women. She was very closed off for the most part. It's the like famous line like, no, why am I in it? Like it's that version of Nene, which is so good. But like I'm sorry, Paige, you're not Nene Leakes. Like it's very hard to be on that level. And you have to be like you gotta have a bit of a reason why you're holding yourself to that level.
That's it too. It's like if you're gonna do that, the audience at least needs to know why you're doing that.
Yeah.
It was so weird, and it wasn't even fun to watch. And like I think that's the biggest issue is that like
real crime.
Like it wasn't fun. It was super awkward for everyone involved, everyone watching. Yeah. And then the weirdest part too is that they kind of made it seem like we would understand this drama in Winter House. And we talked about this in some of our Winter House episodes. We still don't understand what the heck happened. Like Lindsay and Carl came and went.
Yeah.
They tried to blow her spot up. Lindsay didn't play. Was that why she was mad?
Yeah, that's just it. It doesn't make any sense. And like there's no new drama and like Lindsay didn't even know why she was upset with her. And like Lindsay, out of everybody that was on that couch after finally us seeing Winter House, was the only one that really had the motive and the justification to be able to be that upset. And like if she was the one that was like, I don't want to deal with this person, I don't want to play with her, like whatever, like that would have made more sense than Paige, who like Lindsay's literally done nothing to.
Yeah. So, and it was especially off-putting because that was the same season that Sierra literally threw a glass at Danielle.
Yeah.
And that was talked about for like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Max.
And yet
it was the fakest apology in the world too.
That's like one of the things, like I also like Paige, but one of the things that bothers me about her is that she just like is such a ride or die for her friends and like is so blindly loyal to them. Like even when they're in the wrong, where like Sierra was in the wrong in that spot. You know, this is actually an honorable mention for us actually is Sierra throwing that glass, not in a cringe moment, but just like a terrible moment that should not have happened, but obviously stands out and needs to kind of be called on.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, Paige did amp her up. She obviously doesn't deserve any of the blame because she did not have her freaking, you know, throw a glass. But I don't know. It's just like, how can you, it's not to the extreme of a Beverly Hills, but it's a little bit of a Beverly Hills plotline where you're like, this really intense thing happened and you're going to be really mad over here about this totally, well, in this case, we don't know what you're mad about.
Yeah.
But
literally
you're just
nothing.
gonna let that one slide.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, I know. I completely agree. It's so annoying. So Paige Sorber, we will see you in court. The little giggly squad. Throwback. It's probably really old now. Geez. All right, and another honorable mention in the kind of same vein, I would say, is Kory and Jess. They just get a little bit of an honorable mention for just sharing too much. While Paige was doing too little at the Summer House reunion, they were doing far too much at Winter House. And we did not need any of these details about their love life, their bodily functions, any of that good stuff. We're good.
They were just on the wrong show.
They were on the wrong show.
Like, it was honestly, every time I was watching them, like most of their interactions, I caught myself out loud going, ew.
I know, just like a lot of like, oh no, don't do it. Yeah, so that's one thing that we're definitely going to leave in 2022, right? We're not going to see that again, hopefully.
I hope not. I mean, Jess seems to have nothing to do with any of the cast or this franchise, but Kory does. Like, I saw there was a teaser for Summer House and Kory was in it, and I was like, why?
Yeah, but I'm not actually sure if he's on the cast or if he just made an appearance. I'm really hoping. I need to take another look at the cast, but I think that he might just be making an appearance. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I don't think he did anything to warrant being on the actual cast.
Definitely not. No, I won't get into it.
But he honestly might be, and this is one of the problems that they have by filming all these things so back to back, is that they didn't really have time to see the audience's approval or disapproval of him before filming Summer House. So if they did put him in, they wouldn't have known how he was received.
That's true.
So
yeah,
and maybe hopefully he's taken some notes from the internet. Hopefully. Which normally is not a thing that you should do, but in this case you should.
Definitely take some notes.
And then, number 3 is keeping it pretty close in the family, and that is the Pillows and Beer Boys acting terribly. And there were so many occasions that we couldn't even say just one.
Name just one.
Yeah,
you could never.
So that, of course, is starting with Austin on Summer House, where he essentially just came in super hot and sloppy. Sounds really awkward. And he pinned 2 girls against each other.
Yeah.
Lindsay and Sierra.
He called Sierra a Jezebel, which was super weird and I don't think appropriate. Like, I thought that was a weird choice that he said it, they aired it. I don't know if I remember that. I'm sorry, I had to interject.
Yeah, he did a lot of really weird things.
He did a lot of weird things last summer.
He was super baiting Sierra, being like, Lindsay just kissed me. Do you care? And he just clearly went in to kind of pin them against each other, and that's exactly what happened. But then Craig, not to be overlooked, it was hold my beer, Austin. And he also came in super hot on Summer House. All these things are trying to blend together and have the same acronyms.
Yeah, exactly. Summer House, Southern Hospitality, it's too much.
Yeah, apparently Southern Hospitality is Soho.
Yeah, okay, sure.
So he came into Summer House and yelled at all the girls with when the whole Kristen rumor came up from Lindsay. He blowed up repeatedly at Naomi. One of the scenes that stuck out is when they were at dinner and he's to Naomi, how many years have you been in the service industry? Naomi simply just tried to say you should be nice to waiters.
Yeah, you should listen to them when they're talking to you, so
which apparently
outlandish.
Really set him off. So rude. How dare she?
No, but it was the way that he said it too. He was like, how many years did you serve? Which is when I first heard, I was like, you mean in the military? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
so weird.
It's very interesting. And then Winter House, which was probably the worst of them all, where he refused to clean, really tried to get Luke kicked out of the house, and tried to pay people off for the best room.
Yeah.
So those those were all kind of tied. We lumped all those into
that was the
number 3.
The Austin and Craig rap sheet for 2022.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be more atrocities in 2023.
Came in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah, literally.
Miley Cyrus would say.
Yeah.
Craig actually made Austin look better in some parts.
At times, yeah, definitely.
At times.
Until he decided to take down his friend at the end of Winter House, so TBD on that one.
Yeah. What was interesting though is like after all this came out, Craig was on Watch What Happens Live, and he did say that like watching himself on Winter House kind of like changed his life because he came off really poorly, and he's like been starting to change himself. And Kory's like, oh yeah, he's already changed. And he's like, oh, how? And he's like, well, he doesn't drink hard liquor. But it's like baby steps.
That is a good start. That's awesome. I'm happy for Craig. And you know, I do hope that is successful, because he did have such a good season, his first season of Winter House. Like if you think about Craig on that first season of Winter House, like
because he didn't do anything.
Yeah, I know, but it was great. I was so happy for him. Finally had a good season.
And even like the beginning of Southern Charm, we liked Craig at the beginning, and you do kind of, I mean, different. I think it's because he was in a group of men who were like truly horrid. Like he was literally with Thomas Ravenel, which like you look like an angel,
totally.
But you know, it is true though, and Kory's like, you even see it the second half of the season, and it's true, like he's way less destructive at the second half of Winter House. So you know, we'll see if that continues, because it's like he does have some good moments, like when they're at the like wine tasting when he's with all the girls. It's so funny, and he fits in really well. So yes, and the boys are.
If nothing else, Craig is an amazing reality TV star. Like, I think we got to give him props for that no matter what, because I feel like I say this so often, but he's just so good. Like, he's great to hate. He like forgets things really quickly. Like, he just moves on. Like, he doesn't really hold grudges. He just kind of gets dirty. And like, that's kind of what we need from a reality TV star. Somebody has to do it, right? Like,
that's true. He is, but I feel like if he was to continue, he started teetering on that line of like Lisa Rinna, where you're not like fun crazy and you're just like crazy.
Okay. I could see that.
Like mainly when he's like yelling at girls and like popping off like that. But for the most part, I definitely agree. I think like if he tones it down a little bit, it'll be better. So interested to see where the boys go in 2023.
Definitely. And speaking of popping off and yelling at girls, brings us to number 2. So this was definitely the not great year for Miss Bethenny Frankel. I think
hate to see it.
I know, we were big fans. You know, I think that this was just unfortunately not her year. Her kind of interactions with social media, the cease and desist on TikTok, the weird hatred towards Meghan Markle. She went on multiple rants about that. And unfortunately also just with like kind of the way that she's re-entered the Bravo world, has not been well received by fans, or Andy, actually, honestly. So I think
Andy's pissed.
Andy's not happy. Jeff Lewis is not happy. Luann is not happy. A lot of people not so happy about this Rewives podcast that she's launched here. And it's just, you know, I think the one thing that it is so true is that we hold Bravo so close to our hearts. We invest so much time and energy and love and attention to this like franchise and to this network, right? Like we each watch multiple shows on this network. Like I can think of very few networks, maybe except for like HBO, where I watch multiple things across the network.
And they're all like intertwined. And like build off of each other.
They do, and they all have like their different energies and like these like casts, and like we have so much love for them that to like have kind of somebody come in and you know, have spent so many years like kind of essentially shitting on like Bravo and the Real Housewives like franchises, and you know, to kind of like think that she can now kind of like come and like take over this space and not pay homage to like the countless other Bravo podcasts that have like come before her, and not like, you know, work with them to kind of like see how she really needs to be doing this, and to also think that she like, you know, the one thing that like sets her podcast apart is that she's going to bring Emmy award-winning like actors onto her podcast to talk about like housewives. I was like, who cares? Like,
yeah, that was so strange. She was like,
was,
oh, I'm not like the other podcasts who just want to talk about the garbage. Like, I want to be elevated. And it's like, those other podcasts are your fans.
Like, exactly. Those other podcasts, and like, you know, these people have worked so hard like building their space in this world, and like you just kind of like come in like a, you know, like drive all over it and like crush their dreams. Like it's take up space. Like it's not
it's
the
been
year
really
for
disappointing. It's been so disappointing because we talked about this, you know, in our first episode. Like Bethenny's legacy, like Bethenny is iconic brony.
Yeah.
And you know, she's another one like you, she's a good, I don't even know, like she treads villain. She's she treads both, right?
But that's like, why she's a good reality TV
but that's
star,
it. She's great. And it's just been so disappointing the way that she, like you said, has just kind of come and been so kind of rude to this world that really is the reason that she got her start. I think one of the most disappointing things for me too to hear is like her cease and desist letters on creators, and like taking actual legal action against like TikToks, like who are talking poorly about her. That's not cool. Like the Bravo docket covered that really well. Shout out to the Bravo docket.
Everything that they do perfectly.
They're just fantastic.
Literally.
But yeah, that sucks. That's upsetting. We are her fans. Like, all these people are her fans, and she's just slapping them with cease and desist
letters. Yeah, exactly. And you know, like I feel like Bethenny taught me what good reality TV could be, right? Like we watched her kind of like evolve at the very early years of this. Like she was struggling, she couldn't really find a boyfriend, she couldn't find a mate, she couldn't like, you know, she didn't have a child. Like we watched all these like big life moments happen with her, and she seemed so raw and like exposed, and like she demanded the same from her castmates, which was like kind of great and refreshing and like so great to be able to see. And I think it's why I have very high standards for like what reality TV is. And yeah, just to, I don't know, to now kind of go back and like maybe do rewatches and not really see her in the same light is going to be a little bit upsetting. So I don't know, I've gotten a little sad now. This is supposed to be fun and cringy.
No, it's true. It is sad.
It's depressing.
Maybe she'll go back.
I don't know. Maybe her social media is just cringe and we just gotta live with that. It's okay. We're good.
Well, we'll see what happens. And then that all culminated on like the super uncomfortable Watch What Happens Live with Andy.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, like we were talking about earlier, like Andy went at her, and he doesn't do that usually. He was mad.
He was mad. He was mad. He was backed up by Jeff Lewis, so that was enjoyable. But even then, like her responses after that were like super cringe too, because she's like, I had no idea that had happened, and that people felt like I had been railroaded, and like, you know, my daughters saw, like, and she was like, oh my god, that was shady. And it's just like, oh, your daughter didn't know that was shady. Like, come on, like you're so ridiculous.
That's true, because she like Bethenny is not scared of a fight. Like she always has a retort, like she always has a comeback, and that's what I like about her usually. Social media.
Anyways, yeah.
And that brings us to number one. Man, we're just getting more depressing.
I know. I thought this was gonna be fun.
We need more fun parts.
Yeah, we'll go back to the beginning after we watch this.
Go back to Bluestone Manor.
Yeah.
So number one, we have it under most cringe, but it's just Erika. Just her general presence on Beverly Hills this season.
Yeah.
In the past few seasons, to be honest. On a lighter note, her singing at Diana's Christmas party to what's his name, Asher.
Yeah,
well, he was singing.
Well, Asher was singing.
Asher was singing, and she just started like belching out her own
hit the high note.
And everyone was just like, "Oh my god, please stop,
kill me." So bad. And she's so drunk.
I like tried not to watch Beverly Hills. Like I didn't watch the first few episodes because I was like, I can't. Like I'm done watching this person.
I know.
And then I got pulled back in because I kept seeing it like all over social media and stuff.
How could you not?
But I remember at first you were like, oh, she's not that highlighted. She's just kind of like your drunk aunt or something that just like kind of shows up.
Yeah, like her on the boat and like her being like, I'm so lit, which I just feel like is like exactly what you say when you're actually not that lit. Like
yeah, the whole time she was just being like a 16-year-old being like, I'm so drunk and I hook up with so many guys and we're
don't talk to me about my legal problems. I'm drunk right now.
Yeah. But on a more serious note, like just like her whole presence on the show just feels so frustrating and like kind of unethical.
Yeah.
And like I feel like the whole point of these reality shows, especially Bravo, like is that you're getting a peek into someone's life. That's at least what it was at the beginning, right? And I feel like at best Erika showed that she's pretty much lied the entire time she's been on this show, because everything that she was built on, that she's like so independent and she knows all of her and Tom's finances, you know, and she's, I don't know, they're in such a good relationship, has now changed to he's so mean to me and I don't know how to cash a check at the bank and I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
Please help me. Like that's at the best. And at the worst is that like, you know, she just has zero remorse for this thing that her husband has done without even getting into whether or not she had known. Just like the way she's acted and just like being so selfish this whole time is just like, we're done.
We are done. And I think that's also why we need a shakeup in next season, because like we cannot keep on operating with Erika in the way that she is. Like
the fact also, like to kind of tie it back to the Kathy moment, I think another thing that's so frustrating is that they make the Kathy story seem like the worst thing that's happened on this season. And I think that's the most frustrating part, is that they are just like going after Kathy like no other. Literally the night after Erika has like this massive like freak out that was so ridiculous. When Erika has her meltdown of I don't remember if she said I don't care about the victims, but I think she said I don't care about the victims. She said like I only care about me. And it was so bad that even Kyle was like, I can't defend you. And Rinna literally had to rush her out of the house. And it's like, okay, Rinna, you're going to talk about being fake. You had to rush her out of the house so she didn't incriminate herself further. Like, it's just like, they're such hypocrites. It's too much. It's not fun. I consistently left watching each episode feeling very frustrated, which is not what you come to Bravo for. And I think you're right. I think that also like makes me think about like your comment at the beginning where you're talking about how it was just like so heavy. Like there were also so many episodes that like ended and I was just like, I just need to sit for like a second because like that was so intense. Like one that didn't make the list and I don't even know if it's like worth talking about was like the whole Diana situation, because we didn't even want to put her on the list. We didn't. It's definitely not in the top 10. It's in like a list all its own. But like, you know, just like her comments with Sutton, the things that she called Sutton, like all of the stuff that was just like happening with Diana and the way that she was kind of like brought on this show to kind of like take down Sutton. I think take down Sutton, maybe take down Garcelle. 100%. I think that they really thought that that's what she was gonna be able to do, and obviously, like, you know, she ended up just like running away and hiding and like not even coming to the reunion. I'm sorry, I know that I've gone like completely. Oh no, it's fine. Per usual. You know what? I feel like I don't want to. It's not on our list, but I don't want to end it on such a low note. So I feel like we should just rapid fire some fun moments that happened this year. I love that. Because it's too happy. It's too happy. I don't know how this didn't make our list, but Kyle and Amanda was such those were some top moments to see Kyle and Amanda's relationship going so well this year. I don't think they got into their wedding. Oh my gosh, how did I not have that?
That was a good one.
We have to go back and change our
new list.
New list. Yeah, Kyle and Amanda's wedding. That was so good. That was really fun to see. And I feel like I think I was texting you as I was watching that episode, and it was like, you finally understand why they're together was at that wedding. And it was like, oh yes. And it was also just so beautiful.
It really was. And her dress was so pretty. It was cute. It was a nice moment.
Yeah.
One thing that I definitely see as like a highlight of like a fun moment from Beverly Hills was Garcelle finally getting her Birkin.
Oh,
very proud for Garcelle. That was a nice moment, a good thing to be able to do for yourself. Even earlier in the season when she's like showing off like her beach house or whatever, and like it's just, you know, I think that for so often in these shows, like these women like take so much for granted. Not all of them, but like a portion of them. And so like for like Garcelle to be kind of like in a situation where she's like finally like financially independent and is able to you know, provide like not only a house for her sons, but like a second house and like have like a place where they can go away. Like I thought that was so beautiful and sweet and like nice.
Yeah, no, that's such a good point. I feel like she's more grounded than a lot of the women. I think another really nice moment was actually the first the first episode and the first scene of Potomac this year, where it was all of the OGs out for a little picnic. It was so nice to see them all together. Things kind of like spiraled from there, but that was really nice.
No, that was so good. This is another Beverly Hills one, but Kathy asking Rob and Crystal, like, do you guys have any like, you know, like little
snacks?
Munchies, like little snacks, little cracker, you know, something? And then like just the two of them, they're like, oh yeah, of course, and like running around.
That's true.
I thought that was so cute.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. Other good moments.
I liked watching Lindsay and Carl like kind of like budding romance happen on Summer House.
Yeah. And even just like some of the moments between like Maya and Carl during the Summer House season, because they were kind of like, you know, the two like the quieter ones, the ones that weren't like partying as much. That was pretty cute.
Oh, I forgot this. Actually, okay, I feel like our list is not super complete. Remember the moment in Summer House where Maya was struggling?
Because Andrea kept on calling her like somebody else's name too.
Yeah, and she was saying she was like, you know, one of the few people of color in the Hamptons, and like the group actually had one of the most real conversations that you've seen on Bravo about that, where they were all like, oh my god, I had no idea, I'm so sorry, like thank you for telling me your perspective. And like they just like let her say how she felt, as well as Sierra. The weird part is that Danielle was just kind of like, hi.
No, but she held her place. She did a good job. I feel like at least Danielle had like talked about like the fact that I think she's like Puerto Rican, so I think she like talked about that like in the past, at least especially in her like first season.
But
so hopefully she felt like
they like didn't include her at all in that. But that was a really nice, sweet moment. And it was like very real and sincere, and I thought it was handled super well.
One of my favorite moments, and you're gonna laugh because I've told you this so many times, but is Austin and Catherine going to get their nails done in Southern Charm. I love it. It's enjoyable. It's just fun. It's just so good. True. That was so awesome. I loved that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That also reminds me of Austin and I mean, it's a sad moment, but when like Austin's talking about his sister, I think with
on the reunion?
On the reunion, it was really nice. Everyone was there for him. But then also just with his family. Honestly, all of Austin's scenes with his family are super sweet.
Yeah,
his family seems so nice. And then the scenes with Austin and what's her name?
His sister?
No, Shep's ex-girlfriend.
Oh, Taylor.
Taylor. Those ones are really sweet. Like the sweet Austin moments are really nice.
The
Whitney and Naomi moments are kind of really funny.
Those were fun. Those were enjoyable. Don't know how believable we thought that was, but enjoyable.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a good year. 2022 has been a pretty good year. It's been good to us.
We got some good
Bravo's giving us some stuff.
Exactly. I feel like the things that we remember are like a little bit more of the heavier things just because they take up so much space.
Yeah, they really do.
But I'm glad that we took time to remember some of the other things.
Yeah, take some time to reflect back. I think that's important to do.
For sure. So really excited about all the other things that are coming up in 2023. I'm sure we left so many things off of this list.
There's just so much that happened. So let us know in the comments if you think there's anything that we missed.